name is Amy and I am Plans Meet Paper on Etsy, Instagram, and YouTube. And today I'm here to film a different kind of video than I've done before, and it's all about moving. So just this past week, my husband and I found a great rental house that we are going to be moving into in only 20 days. So it's coming up really quick here, so it's going to be a pretty fast turnaround in terms of packing and planning and figuring out all the different things that have to do with a new home. So I figured I would make a video kind of showing how I am planning for this moving process to try to make it as smooth as possible. I know that when I first think about moving, I get super overwhelmed, so planning it out really helps me. And I have also really enjoyed watching some other people's YouTube videos about just the moving process. So I figured I would make a video or two to kind of share in that fun. So this is my planner. It's an A5 Filofax in navy blue. And in regards to planning for moving, the first thing that I did is just make a master list for planning. So here in my home section in my planner, I've got my master moving list. So I went ahead and just thought through what are all the things or the main things that I'm going to have to do in order to be ready to pack up and move everything I own to a new place here in 20 days. And so luckily ours is a local move, so it's not going to be as hard as like a national or cross-country move, which we did less than a year ago. But these are the things that I thought of. So first off, I need to research moving companies. Since this is a local move, we are planning on probably moving ourselves and just renting a truck and maybe enlisting the help of some friends, hopefully bribing them with pizza or gift cards or something to help us move, and then figure out what company we want to use though to rent the truck with and really book a truck and the supplies that we'll need for that day. So those are my first two big tasks. I've got a whole list of rooms or things that I need to be packing ahead of time. I need to notify my apartment that we're not going to be renewing our lease. I need to make a list of all the companies I need to change addresses with or notify that we're moving. I need to schedule when I should be calling some of those companies. So for instance, insurance, I don't want to call too far ahead of time because that'll just be a waste of time, but I also don't want to wait and have already moved and then be calling too late. So just schedule that ahead of time. I need to cancel utilities, internet, trash, water, sewer where we're at, and start up utilities, internet, trash, water, sewer at our new home. I need to switch our renter's insurance. I want to put a countdown of when days until we're moving in my planner just to keep me on track, and also because I'm very excited about moving. I need to spackle all the holes for any little pinholes of the decorations that we've hung up in the past year. And then I need to clean the oven. I write that separate from just like general clean the whole apartment because it's usually quite a process, and since it creates some pretty strong fumes, I don't want my dog to be home when I do that. So he's a puppy, he gets into everything, so I don't want him getting into those fumes, so I'll have to arrange specifically when I'm gonna clean the oven to have him out of the house. And then I just have some notes here about how I want to keep track of what's in each box. So as I pack each box, I'm gonna label it with what number the box is and also with what room it's supposed to go to. And I'm gonna put numbers on my boxes so that I can then create an inventory with what is in each box number and just have a list in my planner so that once we get there, I know it's gonna take us a while to unpack because we both have jobs, but as we're unpacking, if there's something that we specifically need, I can just look and see what box that it's in based off of my inventory. So that is my master list for moving. Now, as helpful as that is, I think it will be a lot more helpful if I assign specific tasks to specific days or weeks. So that's what I'm going to be doing mostly in this video, is figuring out, how many weeks ahead of time or days ahead of time can I get some of these things done, and actually putting them in my planner throughout the days up to our move. Now, like I said, we only have 20 days left until we move. So we're on a pretty short timeline, and if you're moving sometime soon, your timeline will definitely look different just depending on your situation. But this might just give you an idea of how to think about prepping for a move. So what I'm going to do is just take this list right out of my planner, and I'm going to go back to my calendar pages and start assigning specific tasks to specific weeks or days. Now, as I'm doing this, I'm a little bit OCD about how things look in my planner. So I'm going to be using these Post-it notes. They're just little Post-it flags for anything that I'm assigning to a day that's not this week. That way, if I, figure out how I want to write things that week or what color pen I want to use or anything like that, I am not stuck to how I wrote it right now. But this will also allow me to be flexible with things, and if I need to push something back a day or move it up a day, I can do that just by moving the Post-it flag as well. So I'm going to go ahead and flip back to my calendar pages and start planning things out. All right, so this is this week, and I just filmed a plan with me video for this week. So check out that video if you want to see how I set it up. It's a little different than I typically plan. I don't usually use 2 different colors of pen, and I decided to use some fun washi tape for spring break. But what I'm going to do first is go ahead and take care of this task right here, which is put a countdown in my planner for days until we are moving. So I know that the 27th is the day that we get our keys. Now, we probably won't actually move into the house until the weekend because I'm not sure if we'll be able to get anybody to help us on a weekday. So I'm gonna count back from the 27th, but just know to myself that we'll probably actually physically move things in on the 29th. So I'm gonna take these pages out of my planner. You can see that I've already kind of set up the basic outline for the next couple weeks in my planner. That was just to help me out with this whole moving process and making sure that I can fit everything in the appropriate dates. All right, so counting down. All right, so I've got my countdown put in for all the days up to our moving day, and it's actually only 17 days. I counted like 2 days ago and then forgot that days had passed since 20 days. So it's only 17 days left till we move. And now I'm gonna go ahead and check that off. I've put in my countdown, woohoo. I've also already gone ahead and listed the companies that I need to change my address with. I just did that already in my planner. So that was a task that I did here on Monday. Moving on from there, this week I for sure need to finish researching moving companies. I've started that, but I need to decide on a company and book the day for our supplies in our moving truck. So I'm gonna put that down here in the notes section that I've got to get that done this week. I want to make sure that we can get the size of the truck that we want and all of that, so that's why I want to make sure I get that done ahead of time. Don't want to keep putting it off. The other thing that I want to make sure I get done this week is I want to notify our apartment that we're not renewing our contract. As far as scheduling when to call companies, I'm going to do that right now as well. So since we're moving on the 27th, I know that we need to call and cancel our utilities. Let's see. probably should wait until we're all the way done moving out. So that'll probably happen the weekend, like the 28th or 29th. So cancel utilities. I'm going to stick that on the 29th, which is right over here. I know that I need to have the utilities transferred and in my name started up at the new place right before we move in. Okay. All right. So I've got those scheduled. And what I'm going to do is just write out all of the different main things that, as far as packing, that need to happen, since that's really the bulk of the list, is figuring out when I'm going to pack each one of these rooms or items. And some of them I can pack pretty far in advance, like books and decor, our guest room. Things like that are not going to be essential for the days coming up to the move. I know we won't have any guests stay the night right up till that moving day. We won't. And we don't necessarily need access to our books or to look at our decor in the next couple weeks. So I can pack those up pretty soon. Whereas things like, you know, our linen closet, our towels, our clothes, those kind of things need to be a little bit closer up to the actual moving day. I'm also, you can see I put kitchen and linen closet together. The reason why I'm doing that is because just a moving hack is take any like kitchen towels or hand towels that you have and use those to pack up all of your kitchen items, the fragile things like plates and glasses and things like that. If you're moving super long distance, like across the country, you probably want to either have a professional do those things or really use professional supplies like the padding things for your plates. But since we're just moving across town and we're going to be like unloading and reloading things within the course of a few days, I'm just going to use the towels that I already have just because it's way better for the environment to not use a bunch of packing paper. And that way I don't have to buy those things either. I'm just going to use towels and linens and things that we already have to just cushion our dishes and our glasses so that they're not getting banged up with the move. So those two things are going to happen together. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and list each one of these things on a Post-it note and then stick it on the day that I think I want to get it done. Like I said, these are, you know, movable, so if I need to move it from one day to the next, I can, but it'll give me an idea and it'll help me stay on track along with the countdown to make sure that as I'm getting up there till 2 or 3 days left till the move, I don't have to pack my whole house on those days. So I'm going to go ahead and start listing those out and sticking them on the days I want to get them done. Okay, so I've got all of the big things that I'm gonna have to pack kind of scheduled out, and I'm really hoping that by scheduling these out and kind of putting them throughout the days and the weeks, I won't be so overwhelmed when it comes right before that time. One other kind of tip that we used when we moved less than a year ago out here is that we just went ahead and packed a suitcase like a week before we were actually gonna have to move. So we packed everything that we would need for like a full week, including toiletries, you know, anything that you need for your hair, your makeup, your clothes, hygiene, everything that you need just to, like you're going on vacation for a week. We did that about a week ahead of time. And then once you've done that, you can pack all your clothes, you can pack all your bathroom stuff, and you don't have to worry about thinking about what am I gonna need in the next few days before we move. So it gives you a little bit more time to do those things. Also, the reason why we just packed for about a week is because even though you're gonna obviously probably need a few more days worth of clothes once you get into your house, because you might not be able to unpack all of your items right away. If you have a week's worth of clothes, you can at least maybe wash some of those and then use them again for another week. So it gives you a little bit of time without having too much stuff that's kind of packed up separately than the rest of your clothes or the rest of your bathroom items. So that's another little tip. Of course, things like, you know, the food, fridge, and freezer, that has to happen on moving day. I can't do that ahead of time. Cleaning supplies, I am gonna get all packed up and kind of in a big basket so that I can easily transport them back and forth from our new place to here, so that as we're first getting there, I can clean things before we start getting all of our items moved in. But then I can also easily bring those supplies back here to clean after we've moved everything out and before we turn in our keys. So cleaning supplies I'm going to keep portable for a while. Pantry, I think I can pack up a few days ahead of time. I know that this week coming up to moving day, we will be eating really simple things to cook and prepare, probably eating a lot of like sandwiches and that kind of stuff where we don't have to get a bunch of things dirty, and we won't need necessarily all of our pantry stocked foods. So I can go ahead and pack that up a few days ahead of time. The other thing that I wanted to actually go ahead and plan, so I've got all of my packing planned. I've got these top 2 items, figuring out a moving company planned. I've got notifying the apartment planned, scheduling the utilities planned. So I want to go ahead and schedule out when am I going to spackle holes and when am I going to clean the oven as well. All right. So those 2 tasks need to figure out a day for. So I think what I will plan on doing is spackling holes pretty far in advance, because as soon as we take our decorations down, which is happening like this weekend, I can spackle. So I'm gonna do that like all the way back here 10 days before we move so that it's done. As far as cleaning the oven, like I said, I need to make sure that my dog is probably out of the house for that so he doesn't get into it while I'm scrubbing it all down, because I think that oven cleaner is pretty intensely toxic stuff, or at least I feel that way when I'm using it. So I'm gonna do probably, I might even wait all the way up till moving day to do that, so that he can go to the new house, and that way I don't have to ask a friend to watch him or anything. It'll just be easy. So for now I'm gonna put it there. If I find somebody to watch him earlier, I might get it done earlier. But that is kind of how I'm planning in advance for the move, and I will keep you guys updated as I make progress. I probably will film another video about how I'm doing kind of my boxes inventory in my planner, and maybe do some vlogs or something about moving and the new house and all of that as it gets closer. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please click the like button down below and subscribe. Have a great day. Bye.